Okay, Gareth Steenson, it's Italy week. Can we just get an update on the injuries to Sam, obviously, and Aitken from last week, and any other injury updates?
No, we've got a good bit of health. Guys have come through, we've got a good training week as well. So yeah, we've been able to pick from a pretty strong squad. So yeah, we're in good fettle and we're looking forward to this week.
Are they both back in action for this week?
Yeah, they've been up on training there, so hopefully it should be all good and see how we get on this week.
Great stuff. A few days on now, what are your main takeaways from the England game?
Oh, look, there's positives for sure, but there is frustrations. This group's in a position now where they want to move forward. And there's been a few tough conversations this week, which has actually been really good for the group. I think now we're at a stage now where we want to, break into that top four in the world, and ultimately we've got to be able to try and push the boundaries. Like I said, there was some good stuff done over in Twickenham, but again, it probably felt like we maybe took a little bit of time to get into the game. Obviously, going points down against a team that is as strong as England are, it's always going to be hard to come back in those scenarios. But the good thing was that the way we finished the game, we took a lot of positives from the end of the game, but we just got to shore up how we actually approach the game maybe to start with.
What was the feedback from the player group to the coaches about how they found dealing with the 77,000 or any other aspects of Twickenham?
Yeah, no, look, just having an individual conversation with the girls, it's obviously a new thing for them to be in that environment. And I suppose a lot of them actually said they went into the game very confident and feeling good. And it's been about firing shots and about actually expressing yourself and understanding that mistakes are going to happen in that type of environment. It's how we can move on to the next thing. And we just want to try and put our game out there. And that's ultimately what we've talked a lot about this week. The training sessions have been good. This has been some of the best training sessions I've seen since I've been involved now. So it's just about, growing the group every single time they get an opportunity. And one thing we talked about going into the game, we'd be better for the occasion no matter what happened in the game, and we definitely are 100% better for having that experience. So now it's about keeping the thing moving forward and continue growing.
What do you make of this Italian outfit? It feels like while there might be still a bit to go in terms of the collective sum of their parts, they've some individuals who can do some pretty amazing things, especially when it comes to scoring tries.
They've got a really good set piece game. Their backs, they've got some real dangerous backs out there who can, when they get the ball to the edge, they can do a lot of damage. They've also, a forward pack there again with a lot of good set piece in there. So, for us, it's about, there's a few tidy ups we have from the weekend. We want to get our carrying game back out there. We want to play with a good bit of speed and intent. And that's the way we kind of approaching this game going into it. We want to imprint our game on them and see if they can live with it. So, like I said, it's been a good training week. The girls are in good mood. They've taken a lot of lessons out of the week, and we've had some good conversations, and we're fully ready going in for this weekend.
Can I just ask one about Johnny Sexton, because I know part of his new brief with the IRFU is working across the men's and women's games from a kicking specialist point of view. What sort of work have you done with him so far?
Honestly, I haven't seen too much of Johnny. So, Johnny's obviously was away with the men's Six Nations. He's been working with those guys, and at the minute I've been in working with these guys.
Okay, is there any plan of bringing him in at some point during the camp?
It's not something I know about.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
Hi there. How would you assess Italy's kicking game, especially their try last week came from that crossfield kick?
Yeah, no, look, they've got some interesting players in there. They obviously have their nines are really good box kicking, so we expect a few high balls to be coming up on top of us as well. Look, they've got some dangerous weapons in there. They've got an attacking kicking game as well. So we've done a lot of hard work in catching high balls and actually getting ourselves into the right types of positions. So we've had a bit of a focus on that area as well, but we've also had a focus on ourselves as well. We want to continuously keep growing our game and growing that that kicking game that we're trying to develop with the group that we have. And thankfully, again, I know I've said it before, the amount of GAA players we have in the group has been really good for us. So we want to keep pushing that.
And Italy, you have a good record against it, but last time they were here, they did get that win. So what's key to keeping them out? And is they're going to be hungry for that win after that France loss?
Of course they are, and so they should. They were right in that game against France. They put in a really good performance. Again, they'll be disappointed with how the game ended. I think there's, I suppose, the last time you look at it, the last time Italy were in town, there was 2 years was in the bank. But we're in a different place than we were 2 years ago. We're in a different place than we were at the World Cup. And I think for us, it's just about continually growing and putting our game on top. And that's what we've talked a lot about this week, trying to go out there. We want to be the best of the best. We want to keep going after teams. So, this weekend we're looking forward to a really good challenge. I'm sure Italy will be bringing a good challenge as well.
And it's really exciting, the first home game and especially at the Dexcom that's been recently opened. How exciting is that for you and the players?
Fantastic. It's about, if you're talking about growing the green wave that they're trying to do, the girls have been fantastic. Obviously what happened after the World Cup. I think there was a really good buzz after even seeing what was going on at Twickenham. So the women's game's growing. But to be able to go over there, I believe it'll be the first time they've actually get to play in Galway. If it is, you'll have to quote me and check me on that. But I think it's one of the there hasn't been too many games there. I think there's a good crowd coming out as well, and we want to go and showcase, that what the group are about, and they want to go out and play our best game, and that's what we were hoping to showcase this Saturday.
And I know it's disappointment in the result on Saturday, but do you feel that the gap is really closing?
I do, yeah, I do, 100%. Like it's like anything. This group is on a journey. Look, we'll take positives that there is, but there is obviously work-ons. There's always going to be work-ons. No matter what game we play, there's going to be mistakes within it. And it's about the more experiences and the more opportunity the girls get to do this, they're only going to be better for every experience. And it's something that we're very keen to try and keep growing as we keep going. We're very aware that with the group that we have, there's some experienced girls in there. There's some, coming in, getting their first opportunities that you seen last weekend, and it's about growing the whole squad and the competitiveness. Now we're starting to see really good competitive training sessions, and going through selection this week hasn't been the easiest because the competition's there, and that's what we want, and that's what we want to keep pushing.
Thank you.
Hi. So Meg Jones said to me at the Six Nations launch that Niamh Gallagher had kicking talent like she's never seen in a player before at 19. It must be just amazing to have that depth of kickers now coming into the squad.
It is, yeah. No, Niamh's come in, obviously new into the group, first sort of time across. Meg's hit the nail on the head there. She is a very, very talented kicker, and somebody who is only growing every time she gets a training session amongst the group. She's, like I said, she's only really been in for like 3 weeks, and you can see that her confidence is growing. She's getting to know the girls better as well, and there'll be a stage where she can definitely come in and put her hand up. And it's great that we have the ability to have, more than, Dan O'Brien hitting kicks at goal and the ones we have in behind. So it's great to, keep adding strings to our bow, and that's all we want. We want to keep pushing the competition.